Welcome to another gathering of the Gold Key Adventurers Society. Have a seat by the fire as we prepare to help you unlock the secrets of the travel life. From theme park thrills to Purple Mountain's majesty, we want to see it all and do it all, and we want to help you do the same. We all have those bucket list trips, once-in-a-lifetime destinations that we'll get to someday. We're here to help you make your travel dreams a reality. Buy the ticket, take the trip. Where do you want to go?
Come on, now tell me what's on your bucket list. Okay, hey, it's a beautiful day. Okay, hey, it's a beautiful day.
Spring break! Time to chill! Let's take another look at some of the freshest binge-worthy content on Disney+. But first, travel news, including DVC comes to the Poly and fancy treehouses in the Smoky Mountains. Grab some popcorn and dust off the remote. It's time to hit the trail with the Gold Key Adventurers Society. Welcome back to another meeting of the Gold Key Adventurers Society. My name is Dan Leonard, and joining me this week in the studio is Heather Strait.
Hello.
And Mr. Jeff Williams.
Hey there, hoes.
We're as happy as can be, and our show, as always, is brought to you by Key to the World Travel. Key to the World Travel is a full-service travel agency specializing in theme parks, cruising, and destinations around the world. Head to www.keytotheworldtravel.com for more details and a no-obligation quote on the vacation of a lifetime. For most of us out there, it's right around spring break time, and that's the perfect time to chill and catch up on some quality Disney Plus binge time.
Disney Plus and chill?
Exactly.
Yes.
Once again, it's been a little while since we've had a good Disney Plus and chill sesh. Before we can veg out, we got some travel news to get to, starting with, seems like they just rolled up the construction tarps at the Walt Disney World's Polynesian Village Resort, but there's some more big changes coming. They've just announced that the luau will not be returning to the cove.
Boo.
Ever.
I'm not happy.
No, and they're going to be using that area for a shiny new DVC Tower.
Which looks
I'm happy about that.
a little bit familiar. I'm happy about it too, because they don't have any 1 or 2 bedroom villas at Poly right now. And that whole new building, the tower, is going to be all 1 and 2 bedroom villas, which is great. It needs it. But it looks shockingly similar to recently the Axed project over on the other side of the Seven Seas Lagoon there.
I said that as soon as I saw it, but upon looking back at the pictures, it's not all that similar. It has that sort of arts and craft vibe. But
yeah, it feels like they said, hey, architects, we had you design this building and we're not going to be using that. So can you take those plans and put a Polynesian spin on them?
Put more beams in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is it's not really Polynesian enough, or maybe it's just too modern. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't fit to me the feel of the rest of the Poly.
It doesn't feel like it blends in very well. I agree.
Kind of like Bay Lake Tower sitting right next to a building it doesn't match.
Doesn't match at all.
Yeah. And there's no reason why they couldn't. Instead, they could have done things, I think. But I think the other question I have about putting that great big block of DVC rooms there is, how is it going to affect the overall super chill vibe of the Poly? Because if you've got that many more rooms full of that many more people, it's going to take that nice quiet
artwork. It looks like there's stuff to do over in that area. So
That's
it does seem like it's got its own pool, looks like, and it had outdoor dining and stuff. So I think it'll absorb.
It's not going to
more crowd, and it's not all that big. But I was looking at, I pulled up Google Maps, but what's the one? Google Earth, and looked at that's a huge footprint over there. If they take that, there's a lot of land anyway, and then when they take the Luau Cove thing out, that could be a pretty substantial building.
There's a lot of space between that last Poly building and before you get to the wedding chapel area. It's a lot of space.
Well, and part of it's water because there's that bridge tributary thing, but it's a pretty big footprint. So I had that thought too. They're adding, what is it, like 300 something rooms? It's going to be pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like when they added the Kidani Village, everybody thought that it didn't make Jumbo House feel more crowded to me.
That's true, because it's got its own restaurants, it's got its own pool, And it's really, well, at least with Kidani Village and Jambo House, you got to take a shuttle to get
That's true. It is farther, where this is more like right next door. But what they needed to do is put in a second and possibly third Trader Sam's.
Yes. Yeah, if they have some cool outdoor dining, I would love that. And it's in a great spot to walk right next door to Grand Floridian to hit up Enchanted Rose. That's not so bad. And it needed those bigger spaces. The Poly it has some suites, but those are the hotel level suites, which are incredibly expensive. It didn't have the 1 and 2 bedroom villas that I particularly love with the DVC properties.
That's true. It's hard to fit even a family of 5 into the Polynesian.
Definitely. You can fit them in those studios, but it's still crowded. A 1 bedroom and a 2 bedroom. And I believe there are going to be a few grand villas, the 3 bedroom in it as well, those could be pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I'm looking at this artist rendering right now. It looks like a restaurant up top. And
I love a rooftop restaurant.
Yeah, that could be awesome for fireworks viewing or something. It looks like a restaurant or something up top with maybe open air part of that. And then all along the bottom, out the backside towards the lake there, looks like patio dining or seating of some sort.
And it needs a pool. I'm hoping that they're putting in a pool.
Yeah, they show a pool with people in it.
Perfect.
And it has like an infinity waterfall edge. Looks cool. I'm excited for that. I liked the luau. I lived in Hawaii for a brief bit, and I liked that stuff. But the storyline part was done with Auntie and the kids, and that part needed to be fixed up. But I liked the fire dancing and the hula, of course.
And
that
the food
really
was
cool.
great.
Food was awesome. The drinks were good, but it was a one and done for me.
It'd be nice if they could find a way to re-implement that, just because of the history behind it, and just because of the way it fits into the culture. But like that show, they brought over cultural school from Hawaii, and that lady who ran it, and she was the little old lady who made the flowers in the lobby for the longest time. She was died. She did die, but she was like a really big deal in the world of preserving Polynesian culture. This would be nice to see the cultural.
Yeah, maybe they'll bring some of the stuff. Like they could easily have fire dancers that were like streetmosphere, and I'd love it if they had a lot more of that culture stuff there. Maybe they will. We shall see.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll just put a bunch of IP in there and call it done.
See, that's what worries me, is that like, are all of these towers that they put in places going to start turning into just a cookie cutter thing? It needs to maintain these unique flavors.
Yeah. And honestly, I hope another hotel goes up where they were putting Reflections. Maybe come up with a different name, but the idea
maybe something like Reflections, a Disney Lodge and Resort.
The idea of a modern yet something that fits in with the Wilderness Lodge and the fort there, was really intriguing to me.
Or back up and go a completely different direction, because way back decades ago, they wanted to essentially do the Star Cruiser there, but it was going to be a Wild West town.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And it was going to be an immersive Wild West experience with hotel.
Count me in.
That's what I'm so fascinated.
Make it like Westworld, where you can really kill a man.
That's what I've been missing from my Walt Disney World experience.
Hey, they just brought mature content to Disney
Daddy's
Plus.
Daddy's gotta go kill a man.
I wonder how much the upcharge on that.
Quite a bit. Gorge, you just shot me.
I don't know how that would go over. A recent event that darn near killed at least one man and possibly many more. It sounds like there was a close call between a cruise ship and a tornado.
Did you guys see this footage?
I did not.
I'm watching it right now.
It's crazy. I think it's a Carnival ship, but it was leaving New Orleans and sailing down the Mississippi River while that intense storm was going through New Orleans. And there were some folks who were just out getting a little video of the ship leaving, and they captured the tornado. You got to watch the video. I'm sure it was much further away from the ship than it appears on this video.
That is some awesome footage, though, when the lightning hits and you see the funnel.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a Carnival fun ship.
Is it? Yeah.
Imagine being on the deck of that ship and watching that go down. I don't know whether I would have been terrified or excited about how cool it was.
Yeah, it's going along sideways, and that's so cool. That I always wanted to see a tornado while not getting hurt.
I am just not a fan of tornadoes.
I went to pick up my brother and some other friends of mine shortly after a tornado had devastated Huntsville, Alabama, and that I don't ever want to be in one after seeing that.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
But
when I was a kid, we had one go down the next block behind our house, and that's the closest I've come. But it was an Ohio tornado, so those don't get too big. So
not what they grow down
4
there.
Or 5, and just everything looked like bombs, and cars were just. It was rush hour, so cars were stacked on top of each other.
Oh, yikes! No thanks.
Total carnage.
The headlines on this are a little misleading, making you think that this ship just narrowly missed being hit by the tornado, although it could have turned that direction. And
well, the ship is right off the shore, and the tornado is right on the shore, so it's as closer than you ever want to be. But
for sure, it makes for some pretty spectacular video footage.
Did y'all see, and this isn't travel related, but did you see the red pickup truck that got tossed? I think it was in Mississippi. There's the tornado coming through, and this truck got rolled about 4 times, and it landed back on his tires, and he just put it in drive. And boom, he just scrammed out of there, landed back on his tires, and took off. Google that thing.
It was on his side, spinning around, curly in the Three Stooges.
Yeah, it went all the way over and then spun around on its side, and then the wind tossed it back onto his tires, and he punched it.
Hauled ass out of it. Yeah.
That's probably what I would do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
I don't care for the crazy weather.
I saw someone had taken that video and put that Like a Rock Chevy commercial music from it. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Something that's not pretty good. We briefly touched about this a couple of weeks ago. We talked about the Food and Wine Festival at Disneyland. You remember we talked about that peanut butter and jelly mac and cheese?
It sounded so good.
No.
Let me tell you what, this headline might sell you on it.
Okay, let's hear it.
It says, I tried Disneyland's PB&J macaroni, and it surprisingly wasn't the worst thing I ate at the park that day.
That's selling it. That's really selling it. What was the worst thing they ate at the park?
Apparently the worst thing they ate at the park that day was frozen guacamole.
Ew.
Oh.
Like a guacamole popsicle?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I've got a picture of it right here. It is a guacamole popsicle. Was topped with lime crema, pico de gallo, chili lime seasoning, and a tortilla crunch.
No thanks.
No, that looks awful.
Which is just crushed up tortilla chips.
I've had an avocado popsicle. Is that place, Heather, I took you guys to when you were here? That was good. Because it's kind of lightly sweet, but also it was like avocado and lime. But this just looks awful.
Gross.
It's got pico de gallo on it. Gross.
I don't like frozen savory items.
No.
It's a popsicle with salsa.
I like gazpacho, but even that took me a little bit.
I love that headline. Surprisingly, wasn't the worst thing I
Yeah. And then, so there's a close-up picture of this stuff, and holy crap. So it's just macaroni noodles, and it's covered in like a peanut butter and strawberry jelly sauce.
It looks vaguely green, too. It's got an awful color to it.
See, here's the worst thing. So they say that the official description says that it has a brown sugar streusel. Looking at this picture, that's not streusel. That's just brown sugar dumped on top of it.
And then Pop Rocks.
Pop Rocks. And the reviewer says that it wasn't terrible, but when those strawberry Pop Rocks hit, that was the end of it.
But it was $8.25.
Oh my gosh.
I was
relatively.
I'll eat any weird thing once.
Sure, why not?
Then head out to Disneyland. Head out to California Adventure, and it's at the Nuts About Cheese.
I had literally a plate full of bugs 2 weeks ago.
He did. He ate a bug tostada.
It had 50 or 60 bugs on it, all different mealworms. It had worms and big giant carpenter ants. And
when it said ants on the menu, I was picturing some little tiny black ants.
Little flecks.
Yeah,
like
those little
crushed up.
No, these were humongous. It was black.
You could see their eyeballs.
Yes, if I encountered a live one of those ants, I would run away in terror. It was gross.
Yeah.
It was crispity crunchy, wasn't it?
It was not the best thing I've eaten, but I wanted to try it. We were at a very authentically Mexican place, and the lady, when I ordered it, she was like, impressed that this honky was going to try that. And then I ate.
There were grasshoppers. Was it grasshoppers or mealworms that they put in the
mealworms and ants
in the guacamole? They put some bugs in the guacamole at that place too.
Yeah,
I think it was the mealworms. Want to eat a worm? Thanks.
People who are supposed to be really smart keep on saying that crickets are the way of the future. This is where we're going to get our protein instead of cows.
I know. I keep hearing that.
Cricket meal is the way of the future.
Some delicious guac on top of it and a little hot salsa, and it just tasted like any other tostada. It tasted like any other crunchy Mexican food. Mm-mm. You didn't spend a lot of time looking.
But if they had chopped those bugs up so that I couldn't tell what it was, probably would have tried a bite, but those were some whole worms.
They were very obviously, but
no, thank you.
On the other hand, something I say thank you very much and yes, please to is this new resort coming to outside the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. It's the world's biggest treehouse.
Dude.
I saw this article about this resort, and Dan Leonard was the first thing that popped into my mind. This looks up your alley. The Sanctuary Treehouse Resort in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. It's going to be 130 tree houses spread across 40 acres.
Oh, they look cool.
And they're very cool. Some of them are 2 stories and have circular slides down for the kids to slide down the slide.
Yeah, the slide is cool. It's like your bungalow up
kids?
top.
What do you mean the kids?
Oh, sorry. For Dan to slide down.
The 30-something kids.
There's going to be a spiral slide, a climbing rope, a bucket pulley, a net swing, a secret ladder with a trap door, telescope.
They don't telescope. They don't show what the inside of these things look like.
Oh, look!
But I like how it's like the bungalow up top, and then a hangout covered deck below that.
Yeah, and there's going to be a drink chute for bottles and cans from the kitchen to the hangout, so you can send a beer down.
I'm going to that, and I'm not far from Gatlinburg.
There's going to be each one will have a king-size gel cooling bed, a copper clawfoot bathtub, a bamboo jet shower, a heated bidet, and an outdoor tub. These are fancy tree houses.
How heated?
How heated is the bidet?
Yeah, it's like boiling water up your poop chute.
No, it's not boiling water. It's just warm water.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. That'd be awesome when it's snowy out. I can fly my drone off that thing.
Yes. 6 to 10 of them are going to be available this summer in the first phase. And then by the end of 2023, they hope to have about 30 more finished. And then they're going to add 20 to 25 every year until the resort is complete and has the 130 tree houses.
I'm no engineering building expert, but doesn't that seem slow to build 10 tree houses?
I given the amenities, it seems like it might be a bit of an expense to build these.
I feel like they should build these things tiny house style in a factory somewhere and then crane them in there and set them on their pier. Yeah. I'll talk to them.
They look just gorgeous.
Yeah, I want to go to this.
Yeah, I would happily stay there. Can you imagine? I really like the idea of this beverage chute from the kitchen, and whichever kid misbehaved the most during the day, they have to stay upstairs in the kitchen.
Just sending down the beers.
I just wanted to send the kid down.
Oh no, they have to man the chute for the evening.
That's going to be Alex.
Get the little walkie-talkie, beer me, kid.
If you go to their website, the resort is called the Sanctuary Treehouse Resort, and the website is treehouseresort.com. They have floor plans and some more views of these tree houses. There's going to be a fireplace on the deck. Oh, yeah.
That sounds dangerous.
Great.
This is owned by the people who own the Skylift Park, which is the old school ski lift that takes you up to the top of the mountain. And they've got that.
Yeah, it used to be Ober Gatlinburg.
It doesn't look like they sleep very many people. There's a king bed and then a fold down cot and a full size Murphy bed. So maybe 4 to 5 people.
Yeah, and then they're going to have a double with a drawbridge in between the two.
Oh, cool.
Tree houses. It says.
Okay, that's neat.
Treehouseresort.com.
Treehouseresort.com. Take a look. Tree Fort Double. 2 tree houses that can be connected by a drawbridge. Cool.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah, I know there's already one of these, or there's another treehouse resort in the area already, and it's really popular. It's one of those things that pops up on like the Pinterest and Instagram a lot. So I'm behind this 100%.
Yeah, Gatlinburg's full of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's so pretty up there. Or down there in your case.
Yeah.
It is down there for us. Well, I'd check it out. It looks cool.
Forest. 100%. I'm all about it.
If you like to golf, it's situated on 2 golf courses.
I love golfing.
I do not.
That's the one where you hit the little ball.
I like the mini kind.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What's next on my list? Oh, last week we talked a little bit about that Star Wars Villainous game. I got another Star Wars game for you guys. This one's a little easier to take with you on the go. I'm sure that by now you're all familiar with the word game sensation that's sweeping the nation, Wordle.
No, what is
What is
it? Yes, Dan. We've heard of Wordle.
He was like, how do I explain
What
Wordle?
do I explain?
On the radio.
No, that was just my impression of the blank face emoji on my... For people who are either smartasses like Jeff and Heather or actually don't know what Wordle is, it's a word game where you have to guess a 5-letter word. You've got 6 chances. It's like that old Mastermind game where you try to guess the colored pegs. It tells you when you got a letter right in the right position. But the exciting thing is I stumbled across Swordle today.
Oh.
That's SWORDLE.
Is that different? Is that different from
font?
Is that different from Swerdle?
Oh yeah, it's not as sweary as Swerdle.
Swerdle is the 4-letter word game.
That's right.
I was surprisingly bad at that game.
Yeah, they use a lot of words that aren't really
I've never heard of.
You were not going to hear of many of the words in this game either, because this is, of course, the Star Wars version of Wordle. It's cool.
With only 5 letters, though, there can't be Jar Jar.
No,
that's true. However, their word list, you can look at the full word list on the website. It's 14,000 words.
What?
And approximately 13,500 of those are made up alien words.
Oh,
so
good
luck with this one.
No, thank you.
Arabu, Arag, Araki, Arami, Arana, Aranai, Arani, Areth, Arbu, Arbor.
Nope.
Arbra. Yeah, if you are really into self-punishment and you really love Star Wars, try out Swordle. You can find that at wordle.starwars.guide.
I just started with Naboo.
That's only 4 letters.
N-O-B-O-O.
Oh, no, Naboo. Never mind. Mm-hmm. See, this is why I won't be playing. And I'm a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, no, it's not. Did
you get it right?
It was not Naboo.
It was not Naboo. Oh, darn.
No, but the A was correct. And the B is there, but in the wrong spot.
It's the first letter.
Batu?
Basic.
Anal.
The human language.
No, it's only 4. I don't think I'll be very good at that. I can hardly do with regular English words on Wordle, and I don't know any Star Wars words. If it's not Naboo or AT-AT or... No, that's it. That's all I got. Sure.
Yeah. So have fun with that one, nerds. Stick around, because after the commercial break, we're catching up on our Disney Plus watch list.
When it comes to planning your next adventure, knowledge and preparation are always key. That's why a call to your Key to the World Travel Vacation Planner should always be at the top of your to-do list when you feel the urge to venture forth and explore the world. Key to the World Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner, specializing in travel to Disney theme parks around the world, as well as Disney Cruise Line, Aulani, and Adventures by Disney. With over 450 travel advisors who share a deep love for Disney destinations, Key to the World Travel has a wealth of knowledge and passion to help you experience all the magic with none of the work. Wherever your wanderlust is driving you, Key to the World Travel is a full-service travel agency with the expertise to get you where you want to go. So whether you're headed to Universal Studios, Hawaii, Europe, or somewhere a little farther off the beaten track, your first step should always be to visit www.keytotheworldtravel.com for a no-obligation quote. Their expert travel planners are standing by to help you with every detail of your perfect vacation. That's www.keytotheworldtravel.com or at Key to the World Travel on Facebook. Key to the World Travel, your key to a magical vacation.
And we're back. A lot of amazing content has been added to Disney Plus since the last time we sat down to D Plus and chill. For those keeping score, that was way back in November 2019.
Ooh. We love the D and can't get enough of the big D.
Yeah, that's true. That's why we talk about the big D every week.
It's true.
Yeah. I think it's time to sit back, relax, and catch up on all the must-see TV and movies. We've talked plenty about Bruno, but maybe we should start off by addressing the big red panda in the room.
Turning red. Loved it.
Yeah, Turning Red. It's a huge hit in our house, at least with the girl folks. The boy folks aren't quite as into it, but you know.
I thought it was terrific, and I think 51-year-old men are probably its exact target audience.
I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah. You really, which character in the movie did you identify with the most?
Abby, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
She can control her anger, her excitement. Every emotion she had was just nuts. I thought it was great. It was just a candy-colored
delight. It was a delight.
Yeah, I loved all the coloring of it. I noticed, I was talking to Heather about this, all the coloring in this thing was exactly like these filters that all the ladies use on the Instagram. Like it looked like a teenage girl life. It just had the whole look of it was good. And I liked the energy and it was very funny. I thought the relationship with the mother and daughter wound up being very heartwarming, and it all came together and made a lot of sense at the end.
The relationship with the girl squad was awesome.
I love that.
I love that my daughters can see like that friend group relationship modeled.
Although it's pretty far-fetched that women would support each other like that.
I am a Four-Town fan. And we'll be heading to the first concert that comes.
Does your son O-Town like Four-Town?
What? None of them would watch it with me, so I watched it myself. That's
lame.
fine.
They're dudes.
It's okay.
I sat down and watched it. I enjoyed it a lot. I like when every once in a while they'd flash like total anime faces.
Yes.
Like they go from their regular character design
to go starry-eye over the boys.
I actually think that's what will get me to convince them to watch it with me. Yeah. Is that
her one friend Abby, the main character's friend Abby, had anime face all the time. She'd be normal and then she'd just totally go nuts, and all the background behind her would swirl just like the weird anime stuff. I loved it.
Just tell them the second half is a kaiju movie. It's just Godzilla,
it really is too.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla or something.
Yes.
And I don't get, there's been like some weird like manufactured controversy about this thing because they mention periods, like when the girl discovers that she's turning into a panda, the mom doesn't understand that's what's happening and thinks she's freaking out about
is your red jasmine blooming?
But so what? Girls have periods and people are freaking out over that. And then they're just making up stuff to be angry about. These moms I see in these groups or dads too. And I think they haven't seen it. I
Many
think they
of
just
whom
read some
haven't
article
seen
that
it.
told them that they should hate
they should be. Because the little girls are disobedient and they sneak out of the house they are boy crazy. Let's talk about who else in other Disney movies.
Every Disney woman does the same thing. Cinderella.
Merida, Cinderella.
Rapunzel, she climbed out of the tower and left her mom off with a guy.
Off with a boy. Yes.
Yeah. Jasmine shacks up with a street rat. She goes to be homeless.
Yes.
That's the plot. And Mulan left home and lied and left home, snuck out of the house to join the war and save the world.
Yes, she was fighting Huns.
Yeah, but not to mention, so that's an extreme example, but what kid that age isn't rebellious and doesn't
doodling in a journal pictures of boys and thinking about kissing. It's normal.
Yeah. And overbearing moms, they're always the plot too. That's the plot of every one of these things. In Brave, the mom turned into a bear. Talk about overbearing.
Yes.
Yeah. That wasn't even very subtle, but I don't understand.
I think the issue is that it's set. It's not a fairy tale setting. It's actual.
Yes.
Present day.
Heaven forbid our kids have relatable things that they can watch to see that they're not alone.
Mm-hmm. That they're not weird, that it's normal.
That's really was the plot of the thing, is that the mom wanted to have her stifle her power or whatever, but then she realized in the end that
what's original about her.
With this part of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't spoil the ending, but the mom realizes she did that to appease her mom. Her mom did it to appease her mom. And maybe at some point you have to be your own person and be happy with who you are. And I thought it was great. It's very funny too. A lot of high energy.
The music is
way
good.
Better than Onward, which I liked also. But
I liked it as much as I liked Encanto.
Yes. I agree.
Very much.
They're similar in some ways, but they approach it from a very different angle.
Yeah. Yeah. They did have a similar vibe. It was like young women discovering that they can be happy with what exactly they are.
And the generational conflict in families.
Yes. And this was...
And not white.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe what some people are mad about.
Unfortunately, I think that's true. This was released direct to Disney Plus, whereas Encanto... It was a simultaneous
thing. I mean, it went to the theater, but nobody was in theaters yet.
At the time,
it did not.
Right. Yeah, and Pixar people are pretty upset because this is the second movie in a row that they...
Yeah, honestly, I would love to have seen this.
Soul went straight to
that's
video
true.
or straight to Disney Plus.
I would have loved to see this in the theater.
And Onward did go to theaters, but only for a week before they put it out on
I did see Onward in the theater.
Started.
Yeah, that was bad timing for that movie.
Sadly, yes. But this movie really is just the first in a series of a lot of great content that's coming to Disney Plus. I'm excited for a lot of it.
They've been crushing it with the Marvel stuff. I've enjoyed every one of the Marvel shows.
All of them.
And now they, much to my surprise, have brought all the adult Netflix Marvel stuff is now available. If you choose to make it available on your thing with the parental guidance.
Yeah, when the first time you launch Disney Plus, since they've added it, it will ask you if you want it. You have to accept it. You have to opt in, and every profile in your account you have to separately set whether it can accept.
And you can only accept yes that you want it if you're one of the master. If you're like a little kid, you can't say yes to it. It has to be set up for you. So that's good. We don't have that. We just have adults in my house, but we were like, yes, bring on the violence.
I was excited because I was never going to get through Daredevil on Netflix before they pulled it. And now I can take my time now that it's on.
My son and I had just started watching it. He'd already seen Daredevil. We got through 2 seasons and then they pulled it. Like, I
am loving Daredevil, but I do have to say it felt a little weird launching Disney Plus to watch this particular show because it's so violent.
So violent. Do not let your children watch.
No, this is not. This is 16 and up content. It's incredibly violent, but it's so
apparently
well done.
They did some of this to pave the way for the Marvel's newest show, Moon Knight, which
I am so excited about.
I'm excited for that. And apparently I was not familiar with these comics, but apparently they're pretty hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited for this.
And then they brought some of the older stuff. Jessica Jones is on here now. All of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is here. Jessica Jones is a great show. Really love it. The X-Men is on here. All the really great, every imaginable Marvel superhero is here now. All in one place, which is great. And there's some really good Marvel stuff coming up. You mentioned Moon Knight.
She-Hulk,
yes.
I loved the She-Hulk comic when I was a youngster. I loved Hulk, and then She-Hulk was like a sexy Hulk. I liked her. But in this one, she's a lawyer, and I think it's going to be sounds more like WandaVision almost, like a comic surreal thing where it's just normal that this Hulk-looking woman is a hip lawyer. I'm looking forward to that. They haven't released any previews for it yet, but I love the comic, and I'm excited for that.
Ms. Marvel is coming in June of this year.
Ooh, she's on Spidey and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah, Miss Marvel looks cool. It's weird they're getting like multiple Captain Marvel things happening. There's the Marvels and Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. So I'm excited for this one.
Agatha, House of Harkness. We don't have a release date yet, but that will be coming.
Marvel it was Zombies. Her all along.
Yeah. Marvel Zombies. I'm not familiar with anything about that.
That was one of the episodes of What If.
Yeah, that's like an alternate universe.
Right. I have seen a few of those.
There's a whole series of comics on Marvel Zombies. Apparently, that's a very popular thing. And from the previews of the new Doctor Strange, there's a Zombie Strange in that.
Oh, which I cannot wait for, Miss.
So I guess one will introduce the other. I'm not sure of the order of their release.
Madness. Super excited every trailer I see.
And another Marvel Secret Invasion. This looks like a humongous, hugely budgeted show. And it's got Nick Fury and the gang being with all these. It's more of the alien people from, what are they? The Krill, or whatever they're called. Krill from Captain Marvel.
Yes.
A lot of that going on. And we've been wondering what happened to Nick Fury since he was dusted at the end of the Avengers there. But he's back, and that show looks awesome.
There's a lot of Star Wars content that's coming too that I'm pretty excited about.
Oh, thank God you changed the subject. I was starting to feel like when my kids are talking about Minecraft to me.
Are you not a Marvel?
He's not a Marvel guy.
I'm so marveled out. I'm a DC guy to begin with, but it's just there's so much of this Marvel stuff.
Well, there are 3 Marvel shows coming, Star Wars show just this year.
Did you watch Book of Boba Fett?
I did, and I don't agree with most of the people who thought it was a disappointment, but I
watched the whole thing, and I liked it. I especially liked the last 3 episodes when it became The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like Mandalorian 2.5.
Yes.
Well, and I think that was the idea all along. I really thought it was cool the time he spent with the Sand People. I think a lot of the people that were complaining about it were into this myth of Boba Fett. I was never like obsessed with him. He was really just a throwaway, not important character.
I don't care about Boba Fett. I never wondered how he got out of the pit of Sarlacc.
Or if he did.
Did not care.
So I loved this version of how he got out of it. I loved seeing him with the Sand People. It was great seeing the Marshal back again. I've never watched Clone Wars. So this was the first time I've seen that Clint Eastwood dude who was really
that dude
cool.
was really cool. I forget what his name is, but everybody freaked out. Cad Bane.
Cad Bane. Oh, yeah. I did watch the Clone Wars, and Cad Bane is a cool character.
Yeah, he's awesome. I'm sorry.
I loved the battle Wookiee. I don't know. I don't remember what his name was. I was
Black
Chewie.
Yeah, I was calling him Battle Wookiee.
Yeah, he was cool. And I'm sorry, this is slightly spoilery, but at the very end, Boba Fett riding to save the day on his ginormous...
Cool was that?
Yes.
On his Rancor. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I thought the first episode was like, I don't know. I didn't care. The second one was so boring. Third one was cheesy. And then 4, 5, and 6 were awesome.
Yeah.
The one thing that I didn't care for that really pissed me off out of the whole show was... So I get the pun where these kids that have the cyborg attachments, they're modified, so they're the mods. So they had to put them on freaking Quadrophenia motor
I am
scooters.
so glad that you hated that, because I was going to be real disappointed with you if you liked it.
But the more I think about it, whenever they show like big city versions of Star Wars, when they're on, I love how each planet is only one type of thing. Desert planet, woods planet, city planet.
Yes.
Yeah. Every planet is just a single biome.
Yeah.
But in the cities, there are always those kind of weird things. But it didn't make any sense that these mods would be in this basically Old West looking.
Yeah.
And that's fine to have them on. Just don't make the scooters look like they're straight off the Quadrophenia album.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
What really pissed me off.
That felt weird. And I will admit, I love Mandalorian so much that I am sick of the space western side of Star Wars. I need some Shogun Star Wars, and I'm glad Obi-Wan Kenobi's coming out. And when it cut to Obi-Wan at first, I was like, oh, awesome, we're in a desert again. Like, they have that one set they've built, and they're looking at it. But then he goes, yes, he was hiding out there. But then it looks like he goes to all these different kinds of planets, and there's Jedis, and there's lightsabers. That's what I like. Yes. And I also looks Andor is coming out. That's going to be more like X-Wing fighters and that kind of cool. I want all that
too.
Yeah. And there's if you watched any of Star Wars Rebels, which you probably didn't, but
If it's a cartoon, I did not.
But Dan, you should watch it. I think you would love it. And it's...
I'm working on starting those.
Yeah, because there's going to be some elements from that show in Obi-Wan, and it's pretty great. Some really good villains that you will love.
I like the Shogun-y Asian Star Wars, and I like World War II Star Wars.
Yeah. The Inquisitors are the new villains that are pretty nasty. They're pretty nasty. And
yeah, that looks cool.
And that's something that to spin off of what Joff said that I was talking about it. Jeff said.
Hi, Joff.
Hi, Joff.
Something I was talking about with another friend of mine. Star Wars. There's so many of the Star Wars fans who got so upset about Book of Boba Fett and some of the sequel trilogy and stuff, and it gets so precious over Star Wars has to be this one way, but it is literally a gigantic galaxy full of all these planets, and there's different stories happening everywhere.
Which is why we should keep telling desert stories.
I personally like the space westerns, but that's just my weird snuff.
I really did too.
But I just got a little fatigued on it.
I'm getting excited about the moving away from that a bit.
No, and that's fair.
On the last season of Mandalorian, when what's her face, Rosario Dawson, what's her cool character?
Ahsoka Tano, and she's getting her own show.
That whole thing looked like Shogun Showdown. That was awesome.
Yeah, and Fennec
That's
Shand.
my favorite episode.
Oh, you mean Mulan?
Yes.
I love her. She's such a BA at everything she does.
We don't have a date yet, but Ahsoka is also coming. She's getting her own show. I think
that might also be this year. So you got Andor.
I hope so.
Ahsoka, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it was originally supposed to be this year. I think it's like a TBD at this point.
It does say that technically.
Oh, you're right. They've moved it down here to TBD.
Isn't there supposed to be a Rogue Squadron one?
It got canceled.
What?
Rangers. Yeah.
No, that's different. Rangers of the old
Rogue Squadron is a movie that's being directed by the lady that did Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Yes.
Rangers of the New Republic was canceled. That's the one I was.
Yeah, that one's set back in. That's a older history kind of based.
It was axed.
Series.
Dan, have you watched any of the Star Wars anime?
No.
Visions?
I haven't seen any of the cartoons. The only Star Wars cartoons that I have watched is a couple of episodes of Clone Wars, and then those old 80s ones, the Star Wars droids and the Star Wars Ewok adventures. Yes. Those are my jam. I remember those.
My husband and my kids watched all of the because they're huge anime fans and also Star Wars fans. So the mashup, they watched all of them. They liked some of them. They didn't like others, but they watched the whole series.
Was it multiple series?
It was or
a standalone episode, like episodic.
I think they were episodic, and there were 9 episodes, and they were all a little bit different.
There's so much Star Wars to wade through on Disney Plus. Between the Lego Star Wars releases, we didn't even talk about the fact that they did Lego Star Wars version of the holiday special.
Yes,
I didn't watch that. I need to watch that.
There's a Halloween one that's spooky that my kids like. There's so much Star Wars to get through. And for some reason that doesn't bother me the way the sheer volume of Marvel bothers me. I don't know.
Love all Marvel
You're
too.
in the Marvel nerd camp, not the Star Wars nerd camp, not Marvel.
I will say there was a recent Marvel that I did not like at all. In fact, could not finish. I found it so boring, and that was Eternals. Yes,
it's funny that it's called Eternals too, because it felt like it was eternal.
It was an eternity. This movie, I didn't like it. But everything else boring. Recently, I loved Hawkeye.
Hawkeye might be my favorite of the Marvel shows.
Mm-hmm. It was great. And they've also brought over, Disney Plus has so much content now. They've brought over all of the Simpsons, which I still find bizarre. It's a little weird.
Oh, and they're putting out some specials that are Disney Plus exclusive. There's a Star Wars one.
And they're making some pretty awful looking remakes of some pretty mediocre movies. I'm looking forward to the second remake of Cheaper by the Dozen starring Kraft.
Excuse me. I think it's more like the third or fourth. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
All of the Nat Geo content on here is pretty great if you're into
I love sort of thing. All this stuff.
I do too.
And they're dropping a ton of that in April for Earth Day. That's almost the only thing that's going to be released new on Disney Plus. So the majority is Nat Geo stuff.
Disney Nature is that brand going away and now it's all going to be called National Geographic, or are they keeping the Disney Nature name? Because I love all of those movies.
Disney
Penguins
Nature
and bears and they're so
Disney
cute.
Nature is a little bit different from Nat Geo because
it's a little more whimsical.
A little more narrative. They try to make a narrative out of it. And plus, I'd be shocked if they dropped it just because of, again, that like long history going back to Walt's original True Life Adventure.
Was the one from last year that was Elephants with Meghan Markle, was that Nat Geo or was that Disney Nature? Because that one was really good.
I think that's Disney Nature.
I'm pretty sure it was Disney Nature.
Yes, because they made a big deal. Like, I remember jokes about her being a Disney princess.
Yes,
it was announced that she was going to be doing that.
I get it, because she is on.
But she's
a duchess.
Yeah. There's lots of great Mickey Mouse content. I know the new animation style isn't everyone's favorite, but I love the new Mickey Mouse cartoons. I'll watch them all day.
So this is my wheelhouse, my specialty, because my youngest is really into Mickey Mouse. Mm-hmm. But so we had that Mickey Mouse shorts series, but then have you guys watched they're a little bit longer, The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse? I don't think we talked about this last time. And there's a lot of the episodes that reference stuff from Disney parks. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of them that pull in a lot more obscure characters from old Silly Symphonies cartoons and other shorts and stuff. But my favorite one I shared with Heather not too long ago is Game Night. And I don't want to give too much away, but the things that the Walt Disney Company of 2020 let these people do with Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck are amazing.
I need to look at this.
Yes, you definitely do.
I can't spoil it because it's just everybody hit pause, watch that short, and then come back. Please come back. Please come.
All right, I'll be right back. Excuse me.
You could do it after we finish recording.
Right. That's better. I do that.
But so spinning off of that series, they've released some really good longer specials. There's a Halloween special called The Scariest Story Ever, where everybody makes fun of Mickey Mouse because they tell him that he sucks at telling scary stories because he's too happy and nice. And so he proceeds to try to scare the pants off of Huey, Dewey, and Louie and his nephews. That was really good. Have you seen Duck the Halls?
I haven't watched that one.
It's the Christmas one they put out. Okay. Ludwig von Drake tells Donald that he must, at all costs, migrate down south for the winter. Otherwise, terrible things will happen and his body will basically disintegrate. But Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse talk him into staying with them for Christmas so that he can finally experience Christmas. And he starts to deteriorate. And it's like Dorian Gray's portrait. And it's just the most grotesque, disgusting thing. But he's determined to stay through Christmas. And they end up having to save him. It's great.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, there's also a winter one that's more general, not Christmassy, but winter themed things. There's one that's a takeoff on that old Once Upon a Wintertime ice skating, a short that they have. It's very old. I'm probably the only one who knows what I'm talking about. In just a couple of days from when we record, they're putting out a wonderful spring of Mickey Mouse, which I'm looking forward to.
I'm a fan of all Mickey Mouse things.
Yes, so I wanted to recommend, because you might not have seen this one, check out Mickey Go Local. This is weird.
Or Loco.
Is local, Local. It's like the Mickey Mouse shorts, but it was made for the Philippines and Singapore and Malaysia.
And the animation style is yet a little bit different.
Yeah, it's really cool. A little bit weird, Asian-y, but it's the same kind of like shorts. It's mostly no dialogue. If there is any speaking, it's dubbed because obviously it's in Malay or whatever. But it's really good. There's only 6 episodes or so, but it's like gets into real cultural things for them. It's a really good show. You can finish, I think, all the episodes in less than half an hour. So check that out.
I will check that out.
Some other cartoons that my kids were really excited about, and if you have tweens or people who were recently tweens in your house, they might enjoy. They recently put out a cartoon movie of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. There were some live action movies a few years ago that were kind of...
I loved those movies.
Yeah. They just put out a cartoon version that's like a 3D, but it looks like the illustrations in the books. And
interesting.
My kids said it's even better than the live action movies. It's even more true to the actual books. They just a couple of months ago put out the first book, and fall of 2022 they're going to have.
I loved those books. He had all those.
Yeah, it's I enjoyed it too. The live action one, I don't have the sentimentality of reading the books with my kids or anything. They go off to their rooms and read Wimpy Kids.
I loved the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. The second one was good. The third one, they switched cast for some reason. That one was...
the kids all got too old.
Yeah, it was okay, but it was... The first two were great. The first one in particular, the kid that played Rowley is awesome.
Yes, he's very funny. Yeah. So these cartoons are really good. My kids love them a lot.
I need to watch the Beatles documentary.
Yeah, Get Back. I have not yet watched this, and I'm a Beatles super fan, but even it's a lot of Beatles. That's
it is a lot. It's 3 parts, and each part is, I think, 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
2+ hours on each section.
I watched the trailers that they dropped ahead of time, and it looks amazing. And I love that it's finally giving a somewhat more balanced view of what those end days for the Beatles were like.
Yeah,
it wasn't
apparently Paul
just
McCartney's
Yoko
not nearly this big a jerk as everybody thought.
Yeah, but neither is Yoko.
I was going to say that too, but Yoko's basically just sitting there. One thing I did notice, and somebody was talking about, is that if you notice that Linda McCartney would leave, she would come through and visit and do stuff, and then she would leave. Everybody else's wives were there, and then they would leave, and then Yoko stayed.
And just stayed there.
Yeah, they had a weird relationship anyway. But yeah, it's nice to see that the version where they really did have that relationship still. It was
I like that they're doing some kind of non-family and kid necessarily stuff, like a big music doc. They paid a ton of money to get that footage and have Peter Jackson, like world-renowned director, put that together. That was all financed by Disney, and I love that they just did that.
Yeah,
it's stuff awesome. Like that Beyonce thing. That's not my cup of tea, but the fact that they did that whole Beyonce music album.
Yeah, didn't they do a Billie Eilish thing too? Some sort of animated.
It's like it's finally developing into content for everybody in the family.
It's going to have to be because the parents all got it like, awesome, there's a pandemic, we'll get these, our kids can watch these Disney movies and shut up. But then you've blazed through all that, and you need to be generating new content. And so far, they're doing it. I'm excited for this. I don't know if anybody else is, but Disenchanted, which is the sequel to Enchanted, I love that movie.
I love that movie,
and I've been wishing they did a sequel to that for years, and they're finally doing it. And Amy Adams is coming back, and
I love her.
It's going to be good.
Have you seen Summer of Soul?
I did watch that. I watched that on an airplane, oddly. I didn't watch it.
I started that, and then I'm an old man, so I fell asleep partway through. And I need to finish it. But man, that was really cool. Who knew that was happening at the same time as Woodstock, basically? It's a giant music festival in Harlem.
And that wasn't that also the year of Summer? No, that was earlier. Summer of Sam was 70-something.
Right. It was the same time as Woodstock. Promoters put on a huge soul music festival in Harlem. It's really cool to see those performances on film. That was great.
I like all of the making of content that goes along with it. There's lots of stuff that's behind the Mandalorian.
That series was awesome. And then the other seasons, they just did one episode making of on each thing. But I loved the whole, there was like maybe 5 or 6 part series on the first Mandalorian. I loved that. Any of that. Yeah,
there's a lot of that. There's that day in the life of Disney that's still, I don't think they're still doing it, but it turned into a series after the first release that they did, where it was like a movie, was a little bit of a snooze, but once they turned it into a series, that was better.
I want more of the Imagineering show. I know they feel like they told the whole story, but I could just watch more and more episodes of that.
I love that
They could go deep dives into specific attractions.
Series they did that was like
Vault in the Vault.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
I didn't care for the style of it somehow. The flow of it wasn't good.
Yeah, and here's the thing that bothered me. Like, some of the things were new and were really cool to see. Like, when they went into Walt's house, and there's a few things that I really liked, but a lot of it they've already shown, especially in that prop master.
Hey, they need another season of that too. I
liked that one too.
That was great. That show I liked better than the Into the Vault show. Like, they spend a whole episode on the Mary Poppins stuff that they showed in
that one made me cry.
Into the Vault thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, when the vault guy came and he opened up those horses. Oh, yeah. So am I. So yeah, that stuff gets me. I wish they would release more of the episodes of the Disneyland TV series.
Yeah. Any of the Disney
definitely
land or world history, or I would get real nerdy with a full on like deep dive into the building and construction of Disney World, like, or Disneyland.
I've got some books for you to read or listen. Sorry, some audio books for you to listen to.
I do have several books on some of that stuff, and I have read them. But there's lots of pictures usually.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of making of, I really enjoyed there's a making of the Turning Red thing that I watched after Turning Red.
I just noticed that. I haven't seen it yet.
That's really good. We watched that right after the movie. I was just scrolling through this list of upcoming stuff. There's even another Star Wars show I had not heard of that's coming out. I didn't know it was Star Wars till I clicked on it. Now I forgot what it was. But
it's the Acolyte.
And it doesn't say a thing about what it is, because the logo is cut in half with a lightsaber.
Oh.
It reminds me of the ceiling in a certain ride that someone here hasn't ridden.
Oh, yes. Oh, I wonder what that could be about then.
You know what I mean? Like, it looked like that.
Yeah, that could be a Ben Solo series.
Star Wars, The Acolyte. Oh, that would be great.
All it says is going to be female-centric.
Oh, I'm out.
And take place in a new part of the Star Wars timeline. It is a mystery thriller that will take the audience into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic. So this is back in time.
Not the time period I was thinking. Okay.
I was hoping that was going to be a Rey series, maybe.
No, it's from the creator of the series Russian Doll.
Oh, yeah. That could be cool.
There's not a lot of info yet, but that
maybe
does
it will star
really interesting.
Natasha Lyonne.
Maybe.
She was in that show.
Russian Dolls, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
That was very grown up, that show.
It was.
Well, there's more on Disney Plus than I could ever watch, I can tell you that.
So much, finally. And so much great stuff coming.
And Percy Jackson series. I hope they do that justice.
Yes.
My son loved those books, and then those 2 movies they did were mediocre at best. They were okay. But
from what I understand, the author is heavily involved in the series, because Wyatt is a huge fan of the books too. And so I was looking at it, and the author is supposed to be heavily involved in the series, and it's going to be more true to the books.
Very good. Yeah, I know that Rick Riordan was disappointed with the movies. Or I think it's actually Riordan. I always thought it was Riordan, but it's Riordan. Heather, you're very white. How do you pronounce that?
It's Riordan.
There's another one.
It's the Irish spelling, but it's pronounced Riordan.
Yeah. But what's it called? This one sounded really cool. Oh, I think it's Ink and Paint. Have you heard about this one?
I was just looking at that.
It's not. No, not Ink and Paint. There's one that's going to be, each episode is going to be a Disney animator teaches you how to draw a Disney character. But then while they're doing that, they're going to profile the artist and show you their history with the Disney company and the process of making animated films and stuff.
Oh, that sounds
cool.
And
then that sounds really cool.
Ink and Paint looks good too, though. That's a documentary about the women in the ink and paint department in the old animation
I'm excited about that one. I'm going to watch that.
It looks good. Man, there's just so much good stuff. And that's the stuff that I want more of.
Good stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. The history, Disney history
stuff. You need to work out their problems with, I don't know, licensing on old music or whatever it is, and start releasing more of the back catalog.
What's missing still?
Well, so much. As far as like Wonderful World of Disney, Wonderful World of Color, Mickey Mouse Club shows.
Are y'all excited for Hocus Pocus 2?
No.
I know a lot of people are. People love that movie. I've never watched it. It looks awful.
It's terrible.
You know what, though?
But it's a cult classic.
People but see, is people the age, like, you guys are just a little bit old.
You take that back now, Dan.
I said that came out wrong.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, I was too old for it.
This show, yes.
When it came out.
Yes.
I watched that movie with my sisters back in the day, and it's just so cheesy.
Yeah, but you were already 41 when
I was not. I'm going to smack you in the mouth.
Kendra and I were like cane. 10 when that movie came out.
You're older than me.
We were like 10. And that was like the perfect amount of like edgy.
I was 23.
Almost scary, spooky Halloween movie, but it was still family fun, acceptable. It was
that poorly animated cat.
Yeah.
I get it, though. I get it.
I do love Kathy and Jimmy, so I might like it. And I mean, I like Bette Midler.
Yeah, there's cult classics of stuff that I like that's a garbage film, but I just love it because I like it. So that's fine. That was just
one I missed. At 23, I was like out on my own and out in bars. I wasn't watching Disney films. I was,
yeah.
And I've always loved Disney, but I saw the big stuff as it came out. But that was one that I was not going to go see. And I know people are excited for a sequel.
Yeah, I am. I will definitely be watching that in our house.
I'll allow you to see it.
I'm also the person who was really excited that they had like Blackbeard's Ghost and the computer wore tennis shoes on Disney Plus. So I'm not exactly the person who's or a tastemaker. Let's say that. Any other highlights you guys have? That stuff that's come out in the past couple of years, or stuff that you're looking forward to?
Well, Zootopia Plus, because I love that movie, and now there's a series coming out. So.
Hopefully,
I did love that movie.
Yes,
I'm here for it.
Me too. Season 2 of Jeff Goldblum.
I love him.
Explores the world, or whatever it is. The world according to Jeff Goldblum.
I love him, and I wanted to love that show. I watched a couple, but
did you watch the Tiny Things episode?
No, I watched the first one with the sneakers, and then I don't remember even what the second one was, and I don't know.
I didn't like every single episode, but there were a lot that I read. The Tiny Things episode you would like. You should watch that. It was in season 2.
I like Goldblum, and I do love Tiny Things.
Yes,
you'll like
this episode was made for you.
It really was.
The season 2 has a good one about magic also. I really enjoyed it.
But mostly I'm here for the Star Wars and Marvel original
100%
content. And I love that all their movies are pretty quick to show up on. So if I didn't catch one in the theater, I will, like Encanto, I did not go to the theater to see, just fell in love with it on Disney Plus.
You know, one thing that I've noticed that's interesting to me is they announced a whole ton of those live action remakes of the animated classics, and they keep on releasing info about casting for them, but you don't hear too much about them. It's like they've started to realize that people aren't.
I was not into those.
Let me tell you what I did love, and I did not expect to, was Cruella.
Oh, yes. That was a great movie.
That was such a cool, different take on that character. I'd rather they do that, an alternate
that's
timeline version of characters we love. Like I liked the one with Angelina Jolie, Maleficent.
I love that. Yeah, that was good too.
Just remaking a shot-for-shot live-action version of an animated movie doesn't. Although there have been some good ones. I enjoyed Aladdin, and I really liked Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast, sure.
What was the one that they just announced? Oh, so that was what you said, shot for shot. They just announced that they're going to do it in Aristocats. Did you see The Lion King?
Yes.
How bad those computer animated animals are? Yeah, how is the Aristocats going to be any better?
No, I love the original Aristocats.
At least with Aristocrats, they could make it very Aristocats. They could make it super stylized, and it would be cool if they did that, made it animated, but didn't go for realism. The fact that it was so realistic looking with Lion King just made it look stupid.
It was terrible.
I don't think that they're going to go stylized, though. I think it's going to look exactly like Lion King.
Yeah. I hope not, but I think you're probably right.
I'd rather you just do a cool the fat cat or whatever should be like crazy looking. They can make it cool.
Yeah, or do a movie about Fat Cat and his band gigging around and having
an alternate look at characters adventures we already like is a cool idea. Like I thought, but man, I did not expect to like Cruella nearly as much as I did.
I loved it. I've watched it multiple times.
The music was great. The whole look of it just was good.
Need to put that on my watch list.
Oh, yeah. Have none of y'all watched it? Has Kendra seen it?
She hasn't told me about it.
You guys need to watch it. It's excellent.
Y'all need to watch it together. It's fantastic.
I think we would like it.
I've got to talk her into putting down her current rewatch of whatever murder show she's watching.
Like, what kind of murder show?
Like she recently finished
crime stuff.
She's really big into Criminal Minds, NCIS, Bones. I thought it was Bones time, but apparently it's not Bones time. What is she watching instead right now?
Bones is
she's
terrible.
watching Zoo. She really loves Zoo.
I've never heard of that.
Which is where the animals, they genetically modify all the animals on the planet, and they all hunt down the humans.
No.
She's on another rewatch of that. I can't handle too much Criminal Minds. It just gets way too bleak with all of the murder of women and children. I prefer Bones because it's at least
funny. They had good chemistry.
It's lighthearted.
Could be worse. My dad watches Jag. He's always referencing it.
It's really no different. It's just older.
Okay,
right?
that was the
Jag,
one. That was
Blue
the
Bloods,
one
like
yes, that was the one drawback of the Antarctic cruise that I was on recently. The TV situation.
All the hits from 2004.
Yeah, there was all the French content, which I could watch that. But if I wanted to watch anything in English, it was like they just combed the CBS catalog. It was Blue Bloods and all of the NCIS and just there's some terrible show with Joey from Friends. I can't even remember what it's called. Matt LeBlanc's new show. It was terrible.
Oh,
any of his shows?
Any of his shows.
I did. Yeah. I liked the one where he was actor in starring with the British people. That one was good.
That one was good. It was not that one.
It's called like Last Man Standing.
That's exactly what it is. Last Man Standing. Yeah.
No, that was the one with Tim the Toolman Allen.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. I don't remember what it was called, but it was
anyway.
It was
that's
terrible.
Not on Disney Plus, and we don't need to digress.
We're good at digressing, though. I'm sorry, I threw us off by talking about Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's okay.
I think that means it's time for me to say thanks for hanging out with us again this week. If you're excited to meet all your favorite Disney Plus characters in the flesh at a theme park, Key to the World Travel has a 28-screen Cineplex full of expert travel planners ready to make your vacation dreams a reality. Head to www.keytotheworldtravel.com to get started with a no-obligation quote. Don't forget to catch up with our friend, the Theme Park Professor, for all the latest theme park news and tips at www.themeparkprofessor.com. Word of mouth is the best way to help us grow our show. If you have a friend or two who you think would appreciate our special brand of globe-trotting jackassery, tell them what makes our show so great and send them our way. You can find links to subscribe to the show on your favorite apps and all the latest updates at www.goldkeyadventures.com. We can't wait to hang out with you again next weekend. We'll see you real soon.
Bye, y'all.
To ask a question or share your travel story, you can reach us by smoke signal, carrier pigeon, or send an email to goldkeyadventurers@gmail.com. And make sure you follow the Gold Key Adventure Society on Facebook and Instagram. A huge thanks to our sponsor, Key to the World Travel. For all your travel planning needs, visit www.keytotheworldtravel.com for a free quote and help planning the trip of a lifetime. Tell them the Gold Key Adventurers sent you. That's www.keytotheworldtravel.com. Key to the World Travel, your key to a magical vacation. Thanks to Outer Vibe for the use of their song Hoka Hey for the intro and outro of our show. Find them on Facebook at The Outer Vibe or check out www.outervibe.com for tour dates, music, merch, and more. We'll see you next week for another meeting of the Gold Key Adventure Society. And until then, remember, life is short and the world is wide. So go have an adventure.
Did you say grow or show? Because I'm a grower.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't want to share that with you, but I felt obligated to. After you put it out, I felt like I had to.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for growing and showing.